Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. The September meeting of the Economic Development Authority of the City of Lynchburg is now in session. Our first item on the agenda is a roll call, and we will go through this as we have previously during our COVID era. Mark Strohsnyder is here. John Stone.
Here.
George Ann Sneed.
Here.
Patricia Mosby.
Here.
Kim Sorensen.
Here.
Richard Tugman is unavailable, and Bill Lovern is unavailable. Next item on the agenda is approval of minutes for the August 19 meeting. I think everyone has had a chance to go over those. Are there any amendments, questions, concerns?
Motion to approve as presented.
Motion's made. Is there a second? Thank you. Motion's made, properly seconded. All those in favor of approving the minutes as presented signify by saying aye. We'll go through the roll call. Mark Strohsnyder, yes. John Stone.
Aye.
George Ann Sneed.
Aye.
Patricia Mosby.
Aye.
Kim Sorensen.
Aye.
And again, Mr. Tugman and Mr. Lovern are absent. Next item on the agenda is to welcome our newest member to the neighborhood, Miss Amy Carrier, who is the new CEO for Central Health. Ms. Carrier, if you'd like to come up and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Thank you very much. It's such a pleasure to be here this morning. My family is now settled into our new home here in Lynchburg, and I was happy to share this morning that we're actually out of boxes and truly settled in. This is day 3 for me with Centra. It's already been a busy couple of days, and I have been touring our facilities, spending time, which I know, of course, with the matter that's before you today, you'll learn a little bit more about that. But I've been touring the hospitals, starting here in Lynchburg, and really just so pleased to be able to work with this wonderful team who's just struggling, as all healthcare workers are today, with COVID and the challenges in our community. But is there anything I can tell you about myself? It's just, I'm so pleased to be able to meet you so early on in my tenure here, and happy to answer any questions that you have. But I will say that Mr. Davenport is going to speak to the matter before you. He's briefed me, but he's the expert in this area. So.
Welcome.
Welcome. Thank you.
I look forward to getting to know you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
The next item on the agenda is a public hearing for Central Health bond issue. At this time, I shall declare the public hearing open. Is there anyone here to speak in favor of the issuance of the bonds?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Good.
Yes, sir. My name is Doug Davenport. I'm the Chief Financial Officer of Central Health. I've been a resident of the community since the 17th of January of 2020. I've got the full COVID experience, as well as this is my second opportunity to come in front of this fine group. We are looking to issue $275 million worth of bonds, and these bonds are going to be for a couple of different things. First and foremost, there's some new money in there, about $38 million, to help us with our planned expansion of Lynchburg General, and then it's a refinancing of our 2014 bonds for about $72 million, and then a refinancing of our 2020 bonds that we issued last year for about $165 million. Two things that we're trying to accomplish. One is our 2014 bonds and our 2020 bonds are a variable rate. We're going to be issuing fixed-rate bonds, which will give us stable, long-term financing, and it end up with our debt profile being about 75% fixed versus now it's about 35% fixed. So it helps us do a lot of planning. And then in addition, while we have had the $150 million, we haven't invested in nothing more than equipment, but as we do the planned expansion of Lynchburg General and look at trying to expand certain services, we're going to be doing some work on parking, wayfinding, and then constructing an additional expansion zone to create greater patient care, buy new equipment, those type of things. And that's what we'll be using the money for. We believe that this is adequate, and we also have looked at all the different opportunities and believe this is the correct plan of finance for us at the current time. I'll answer any questions.
Does anyone have any questions from Mr. Davenport? Thank you, Doug. Is there anyone else here to speak on behalf?
Thank you.
Okay. Is there anyone here to speak in opposition of the bond issue? Seeing no one, I declare the public hearing closed. And Mr. Craddock?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, we have two proposed resolutions, both of which I'm going to pass out. Can we just pass it?
Yes.
There's 7 of them. First, what you have is what we call the inducement resolution, and it recommends the project to City Council. Basically, you appoint McGuire Woods as bond counsel. Mr. Bruno is here. He represents McGuire Woods and is bond counsel to this project. You also, most importantly, are recommended to the City Council by the inducement resolution. You are inducing the hospital to go forward with its plans. The second resolution is what we call the bond resolution, and it authorizes the issuance of the bonds, and it also has the authority to approve the major bond documents, including the trust agreement, the loan agreement, the note, the bond purchase agreement, and the preliminary official statement. These documents have to be approved by the authority. Mr. Bruno, do you want to add anything to what I've already suggested?
No, thanks very much. And, but yeah, these resolutions are substantially similar to ones you've seen in the past, and again, consistent with state law. The obligations on the bonds are Centra's, not the EDA. You're obviously facilitating their access to the tax-exempt bond market.
Are these the same that were in the?
They're exactly the same.
Okay.
I didn't know whether you all had a chance to.
No, I just
See.
wanted, I read these, I didn't know they're the same.
Okay. But as I say, this does recommend the City Council that the council approve it. The elected officials have to approve it. And
So this goes to council as a
it goes
recommendation?
to council as a recommendation from the authority. And we need to take a vote on that.
Okay. Would someone like to make a motion to
Adopt the resolution?
To adopt the resolution, yes.
I will make a motion to adopt this resolution to issue bonds not to exceed $275 million for the benefit of Sept.
Is there a second?
A second.
Thank you all. And we will have a roll call vote. Mr. Strohsnyder's in favor. Mr. Stone?
Aye.
Ms. Sneed?
Aye.
Ms. Mosby?
Aye.
Ms. Sorensen?
Aye.
Resolution is passed.
The next resolution that I'm going to pass out is the bond resolution. And it will We'll go ahead and adopt it now, but it can't take effect until council has approved it. And it also was sent to you all through the Dropbox.
And this is the same document that was in your packet that was sent out earlier this week. It does also require a vote for recommendation. Is there someone who would like to make a motion to adopt this to go to council?
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Stone. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Mosby. And we again will go through roll call vote. Mr. Stroh-Snyder in favor. Mr. Stone?
Aye.
Ms. Sneed?
Aye.
Ms. Mosby?
Aye.
Ms. Sorensen?
Aye.
Resolution is approved and shall be moved forward to City Council at their next regularly scheduled meeting. Next item on the agenda is staff report from Ms. Upshur. Thank you all. Thank you all.
Can't thank you enough, and we keep having to thank you because we're not well behaved sometimes here in the city. And welcome, Amy. Anything you need, I know you've got a crew here, but we got your back as well.
Thank you very much.
Okay, staff meeting. These meetings are going very quickly, aren't they, gang? You didn't even hardly get your car parked. So from a staff perspective, because of the rise in COVID-19 cases within the city, we have gone back to mask mandate within City Hall and city buildings as well as city vehicles. And with that in mind, we are really on the fence about our September 30th annual report. Anna and the team met this week to think about how, that is where we're going to take the LYH brand that we are using and do the brand campaign. We were going to move that out at that point in time, but we're looking at a digital deployment now with video and some of those other things. So we're just going to, we are most likely, Anna made a very salient point about a week ago. She said our numbers are the same as they were back in February. Would we have ever thought of holding any kind of meeting at that time? There's obviously a lot of restrictions to food and drink and all of those types of things. So I would just say, for all intent and purposes, that in-person meeting will be canceled or postponed to a time when we can all gather and celebrate. So we are really working on the job portal that we have with Chimera. That's going to be a really exciting thing, and there's just so much entailed in getting that up and running. We don't, talking about it before you've really got it there ready for prime time can probably be more confusing. So we want to release that with a big splash, because folks will be able to come to Opportunity Lynchburg to the website, and it will pull from job postings in like 900 different places. So Alicia's really been working really hard to pull all of that together. So really looking forward to having that as yet another tool in the toolkit for the citizens to find employment. And anybody that's an employer knows right now that we need all the qualified bodies we can get to fill positions. We are looking into all the different money that may become available with the Infrastructure Act, both federal and state. We're looking at the Industrial Revitalization Fund. the Virginia Tourism Fund, all of the places that there may be money for projects. We are looking into all of those to see whether we have the capacity to be able to partner and put some of those projects forward. We are also still continuing with the long-term recovery team. As a matter of fact, I was a little late getting down here because I was talking to the city assessor. That's been a great group of city staff that has come together during the pandemic, and we looked at all of the CARES money that came through for the entire city and where all that money was deployed, beyond the amount that came through the Economic Development Authority. And that group will continue to meet because we've just found it so incredibly helpful to take the information that each one of those departments, Commissioner of Revenue, City Assessor, Community Development, Economic Development, and the Finance Director all bring to the table. So we also believe it's a really good way to synthesize the data of what the economic health of the city looks like and be able to report that back out to council, and not just, not have it come from the normal places. It could come from finance or the city assessor or anywhere like that. So that's been great. We are, as we told you last time, we're working with the Small Business Development Center on the Equity Economy Certification Program, the Economy Certification Program, and we're meeting with Humankind about their new CDFI designation that they've gotten for Ways to Work. Alicia has done a yeoman's job of working on 2 job fairs, both with the city and with Centra, who both have quite a few openings. So I think she's been really, really, really helpful to them to figure out how to be competitive sometimes with the private sector. So the brand campaign, we are set to launch, even though I say that. We just met with the city manager yesterday. He is really taking his time to meet with the community first. And so we had an opportunity to share with him the brand campaign and to really differentiate that what we're looking at is we're the destination marketing organization for the city. And that entails residents, visitors, businesses, and talent. So becoming that's a natural job as we're selling the city both internally and externally. We are not trying to become, the city seal or what the city, may choose as a brand. We are using this, and the campaign is a way to re-energize or to energize and engage residents and the rest of that group that I spoke about what a great place Lynchburg is, and to put Lynchburg on the map. So that has been an incredible amount of work. We were looking to go to give council an update on this on the 28th, but we might have been booted because something else had to go on the agenda. But we're going to give them a briefing and a work session. The museum, as we've told you, is now hosting visitor services. And they're going to move to, they're right now at 3 days a week, and they're moving to 5 days a week in October. And we are still working on the digital kiosks. I'm sure they are like everything else you order now. There's a part that you can't get anywhere. But that's going to be really exciting because those kiosks are going to be deployed all over the city. So it's really hard to know now the kind of reach that we're going to have that we've never been able to have before. So there'll be one at Centra. There's going to be one at Randolph, one at University of Lynchburg. We're working with Liberty to provide content because they have such a robust visitor center, to provide content to them to be able to be used in that visitor center. So I'm really looking forward to, next year at this time or even the year after that, I'm thinking big. That we will see our revenue numbers rise because we're doing a much better job of providing information to people about all the things there are to see and do in the city of Lynchburg and the surrounding area. And the 10 miler is Saturday, September 25th. And so always very, very exciting. And they will have, I believe, their VIP sponsor reception on September the 16th at the Virginian Hotel. And Clayton has been incredibly busy and hit the ground running. I think we have special events, once again, always with a grain of salt, but it's outside, scheduled almost all the way through October. So there's been something almost every weekend. But just a fantastic job of Anna, Clayton, the whole team working together to make sure that whomever is having an event, that is a very smooth process, as well as working with city staff to make the parts that they play and all that be a lot more communicative and providing them with information up front. And one of us shows up at every event, and most of the time it's more than one of us, and we take turns throughout the day to make sure that whatever's going on down there is being well done, on both sides of the fence. So that is what we have going on. Anybody else?
The only other calendar item that's in here is the inauguration of Dr. Morrison Shutler on October 1st. It's at 3 p.m. On the Dell. So watch your email for that invitation.
Yeah, and hopefully it didn't go in your junk.
We'll check on that. But if you can come, it should be a lovely ceremony. Inaugurations of college presidents to them are a very big deal. So there's a whole weekend of festivities. So it's nice.
And that's all I have.
Thank you.
No closed session.
Thank you for taking my thunder. Okay, we do not have any items for closed session. Does anyone have anything they'd like to bring before the board at this time? Hearing none, we shall declare this meeting adjourned.